Hi guys, welcome back to Women, Wine and Wisdom. I'm Jimmy.
I'm Naomi.
And obviously we have an interesting topic for you. But before we do that, we're going to hit it off with a dilemma.
Yes, let's get into it. So, I hope you guys like our little phone cases. They're so cute.
Phone cases and our nails, because we both got our nails done.
Yes. Come on. Okay, so today's dilemma, exposing my abusive ex-girlfriend to her fiance. Let's read on. So, a throwaway account. I, 26, male, dated my ex-girlfriend in high school when we were both 16. I had a crush on her since second grade, so when she finally agreed to go out with me in high school, I was over the moon.
That's cute.
Unfortunately, our relationship was a nightmare. I quickly realised she has low self-esteem, constantly asked for reassurance from me about her looks and her weight. And if I didn't tell her what she wanted to hear, she would gaslight and manipulate me to make me feel guilty. I didn't realise at the time, but after reading stuff online and listening to some podcasts, I realised her behaviour was emotionally abusive. We dated for around 1 year and she ended up breaking up with me, citing her mental health, etc. I never saw her after high school because we moved to different cities and also her social media accounts were set to private. Recently, there was
he couldn't hit follow now?
Girl, he could not hit follow.
He couldn't hit follow now?
So recently, there was a high school reunion. Do you know what? I've been wanting to do this for a very long time, you know.
A high school reunion?
I kind of do.
Really?
I don't know. I think it's such an American thing, but...
It's such an American... The thing is, and a Nigerian thing. Nigerian people do it all the time. Yeah.
But I think it is quite cool.
Yeah, I see you all on Instagram.
Oh, that's it then.
No,
That's
but
your reunion.
to be honest, I wouldn't actually mind. It's not like I mind doing one, but I'm not pressed to do one. I'm not pressed to not do one. Do you know what I mean?
I think it'd just be interesting.
Yeah, but I didn't go to prom though either for any of them.
I didn't go to prom.
So yeah, I feel like I'm just that way inclined. But no, I don't think it would be interesting.
It'd just be interesting. Just like old connections and just see where people are at. It's not for anything other than just like reconnecting with people that you spent 5 years with. Well, if you stayed in the same school.
Depends on some people I could pass, 100%.
Definitely some people I can pass, but some people that I'm just
some
like,
people are
just catch up, you know? But yeah, sorry. So go back. Recently, there was a high school reunion. I found out she would be there, so I decided to go. She hadn't changed much, was still overweight. She said hi to me as if nothing had happened and proceeded to make small talk with me.
Okay.
It really bothered me that she was pretending nothing happened between us, so I asked if we can talk privately. I told her about how I felt about the way she treated me and was abusive towards me when we were dating. She said something like she was going through a tough time with her self-confidence and apologised for taking it out on me, etc.
Yeah.
She said ever since she met her current partner, she was feeling more confident about herself. She then told me they were engaged, which also came as a shock to me. I asked, is he a hater?
I'm like, wait a second. The thing is, you sound like you've not moved on. And you're mad that she's moved on.
But also you were expecting her to like hold back because she was overweight and had low self-esteem.
Like life is not meant to move on.
Okay, maybe you weren't the right man for her. But anyway, let's continue. I asked her if she had told him about us and how she treated me. Why would she? When we were dating. She said she mentioned her past relationships to him, but didn't share all the details. I told her she needs to tell him about how she was abusive to me. Why does she need to?
First of all...
Why does she need to? That's so strange.
You know what, the thing with that already, I'm like, you felt that way. You had the opportunity to walk away.
And you stayed.
Place. So I'm like, part of it's your fault.
Yeah.
And again, this was secondary school. You want to hold me accountable as a 30-year-old woman to something what I did when I was in secondary school.
Please let me just...
You need to go to therapy, love.
He needs the help.
He's
clearly the problem. So I told her she needs to tell him about how she abused me, how she was abusive to me, so that he knows who he's marrying.
Yeah.
At this point, she made up some excuse and ran away from the conversation. Yeah, because why am I still talking to you?
I would have just been like, excuse me, I can see that tonight you're not having a great night.
Yeah, one too many drinks.
Yeah.
I felt that the new partner should know what he's getting into. She is still overweight.
So, what's that got to do with you? Maybe he likes people that are meaty.
The audacity!
You might like people that are meaty. What's your business?
She is still overweight Have you even seen him? Maybe he's even 10 times bigger than her, so maybe he likes her that side.
Also, by the way, let's talk about that, because again, if she's overweight, are you super skinny?
Okay.
That in itself is also like, there's eating disorders on both parts.
But what's his concern? So fat girls can't be loved. Fat girls need love too. Like, what can I love? Like, it's wild. Anyway, okay. Keep on going off it.
Not well.
She is still overweight and has not made any effort to change or improve herself, and probably has the same insecurities. And I imagined how this man will have a terrible marriage.
Okay, first of all,
why are you imagining that? How do you know that?
First of all, he has decided to marry her. You don't know how long they've been dating. You don't know their situation.
Wow.
You can't hold me accountable to... Well, you can, but you cannot really hold me accountable to something that I did when I was 15, 16, as a 30-something-year-old woman. I don't know how old they are, obviously.
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? It's like...
No, how old are they? He's 26. Mm-hmm. So I assume
10
that
years
she's
ago,
26. Because he said, like, when they were 16.
10 years ago.
It's the audacity for me.
And I feel like you have to... If you are disclosing such information... Is it emotional abuse or is it physical abuse? Physical abuse, fair enough, that maybe you can say, there's been some aggressions in the past. I feel like maybe that can be disclosed. But like emotional abuse, that's subjective to what you thought that was.
Exactly.
Because my insecurities are my insecurities. And if I'm talking about them to you and I expect you, for example, as my partner to reassure me.
Exactly.
Is that really such a bad thing that I expect my partner to reassure me? I mean, obviously
they clearly
not consistently, but...
They clearly weren't compatible.
No.
For whatever reason, they just weren't compatible because...
He hasn't moved on as well.
Yeah, he definitely is given hater energy. Move on. So yeah, I felt that the new partner should know what he's getting into. She's still overweight and has not made any effort to change or improve herself, and probably has the same insecurities. And I imagined how this man will have a terrible marriage. So after the party, I used a friend's account to find her fiance. And I sent him a message detailing the things she did when we were dating in high school.
I hope you told him to mind his business.
He responded with something like, asking me to stop bothering them.
Facts.
Well, obviously.
I love when a real man tells a puny man.
Like, shut up.
Yeah.
Sit down. Go away, you fly.
Literally. Swat.
It's been about a week since I did this. And now I am getting bombarded with messages from high school friends calling me a creep and an a-hole. Asshole. I'll say out for you, asshole.
Yeah, he is a creep.
I don't understand how people can side with her when she was the one being abusive. And it is her responsibility to let her fiance know about this. I was doing what I felt was the right thing. I thought maybe they are reacting this way because they don't have the full story and the background about our relationship. So I wanted to post here. Or am I helping this poor man? Are you okay?
He's not helping anybody. He needs to help himself.
He needs help.
He needs to help himself first. I feel like, do you know what? This situation sounds like for someone who hasn't moved on and he's upset. So when he saw her, he was thinking that she would be in the same place or in a bad place, do you know what I mean? And not moved on. It's unfortunate. But
I'm going to go for the wine.
Why not? Let's go for it.
Well, let's finish the dilemma now.
Oh, yeah.
Let's finish it.
Yeah, he needs to go seek help first before he's trying to help other people.
Yeah,
because at this point, you're trying to help somebody, one that you've not seen in years or decades, from the sounds of it. You know nothing about her anymore. You don't even know what she's like as a person.
Exactly.
You don't know any growth that she's been through.
Exactly.
Even if she's still big, her confidence might be up. You literally don't know. So, everyone that's calling you a creep, I mean, I'm more than inclined to agree.
Yeah, and an asshole. That part,
yeah.
I agree with that.
Because mind your business.
Exactly. Oh. What the audacity. Guys, let us know what you think.
Yeah,
put your comments in the comment.
Put your comments in the comment section. Yeah. The wine be whining.
But yes. What a creep. What a weirdo. He needs to really mind his business. Honestly, face your front. Don't worry about what's happened. An ex is next. Like, move on. Move on to new endeavors.
New heights.
Find a new girl.
Yes. And on that note, so our topic of the day is, should you spin the block with an ex? AKA, should you get back with an ex? So let's talk about it. Before we do that, let's cheers with our port.
With our port. I know it's not Christmas, guys, but still.
Yeah. This is a really nice, strong port. Yeah. Very strong.
Do you know where all ports are from?
I can't remember.
Portugal.
I don't actually remember that, but it makes sense though, because Portugal, yeah. Port is a fortified wine. Oh, sweet though.
It's so sweet. Port is generally quite sweet though, isn't it?
Yeah, port and sherry.
Do you know?
This is a nice port, though, I have to admit.
It is, and you can pick this up. I mean, I did get this for Christmas, but it is a Cockburn's. It's a special reserve port. You might have seen our little advert.
Basically.
On our socials, which was...
I'm trying to taste the notes in this.
Yeah, it's...
dark fruit.
It is dark fruit.
Yeah, so like blackberry, plum.
Do you know what? They haven't actually got it listed on here.
I'll be very careful. Definitely, I feel like plum.
But it is definitely dark fruit because I remember from looking at it. But it is lovely, guys. It is very sweet. And if you do want to get licked, because...
It's strong, yeah. Fortified wines tend to be, so...
It's 20%.
Yeah.
Sorry, let me speak louder for the people in the back. It's 20%.
Yeah, so normally
that
wines...
is loud.
Yeah, normally wines are like between like 11 and... Well, 10 and 11 and 13. And then it's like 13 to 15. It's meant to be high percentage. So for a wine, so 20%, you already know.
Listen, we'll be drinking this slowly today.
Slowly. Very slowly.
But yes. So
did you
we
spin the block?
Girl.
Have you ever spun the block on an ex?
Hey.
That's the real question.
You know what? Let me be honest. Guys, I have.
Okay. And how did that situation... Well... I mean, to be honest, I was going to say how that situation go, but you're in together now, so yeah.
Yeah. It's, I think sometimes...
I'm 50-50 on this one, so I'm interested to hear the story.
Yeah, I think, I think with the ex that I spun the block with, I wasn't quite over him.
Yes.
And so for me, it was just kind of like, okay, maybe if we do it differently the next time round.
Yeah.
Maybe because we're a little bit older, things will be different.
Yeah.
Girl, it ain't changing. So I think it really does come down to firstly, the reason why you split up. What was the cause of the breakup? And I think that needs to be established. And then a conversation needs to be had.
Yeah.
A conversation needs to be had to understand why it happened and how that won't repeat itself. Otherwise, you're only going to fall into the same breakup situation down the line. It's going to be inevitable. So yeah, but yeah, me and my ex, yeah, I think I just wasn't quite over him. Seemed like he wasn't quite over me at the time as well. Got back together, but it ends up just being the same. I think as well, with us, it wasn't even so much history repeating itself. It just wasn't the same.
Okay, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, so like we were just in different places in our lives, and I think it just wasn't quite the same. It wasn't, university Naomi. It was like a grown more mature woman.
Naomi,
yeah, it was working. Come on.
Sometimes, sorry, baby, you can't sit at the table no more. I thought that you could, but you can't.
Do you know what I mean? So I think it is just very different. And I don't feel like I felt he was given enough. He wasn't putting in enough of the effort that I wanted to see.
Yeah.
So when we got back together, I had a bit more of a backseat approach to see what he'd bring to the table, because he was very sweet with his mouth. So he would talk So he would do the whole like, just gaslighting. So I was like, okay, let's see.
I hope you hear this, honey. I bet you're still single.
I'm sure he is, to be fair.
Can you imagine?
But yeah, so, nothing really, he didn't really do as much as he was saying.
Yeah.
And we mentioned this in our placeholder conversation, in our placeholder episode. So I think... Yeah, I just, don't spin the block. Once you've broken up, there's a reason for the breakup.
I'm 50-50 on spinning the block, I don't think I've ever gone back to an ex in terms of like we're dating again. Yeah. Because, and I've said this on our friendship episode, but the reason why I'm 50-50 on it is because one, I'm like, once Jimmy, have like disattached from you, I don't really feel like we can get that attachment back. That's why when you said it wasn't quite the same, I really understood what you meant. Because I'm like, it's just not quite the same anymore. And I'm not a rekindler. I don't like you anymore. I don't like you.
But do you know what it is?
Because you're not a nice person.
Like I know which ex you're talking about as well.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm nice to you, and this is how you treat me. Nah.
But do you know what it is? I think it also is, I think it depends on why you broke up.
That's exactly it. That's why I'm like, I'm 50-50 on it.
Because like me and my ex, the only reason why I could reconsider it is because he wasn't when we were in a relationship, he wasn't bad to me.
Yeah.
We just broke up because we just broke. Like I could just be quite impulsive, and I was just like, oh, I'm over it. Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm like,
he probably wasn't giving you what you needed or felt you needed.
So I just kind of just was like, oh, whatever. But it was never because he was disrespectful. He didn't treat me bad. He wasn't. There was nothing bad about it. Yeah. It's just that I just was over it. Mm-hmm. But when we came back round, it was like, yeah, let's see what he's about. Let's see if he's matured a little bit. If what he can bring to the table. And I felt like what he was bringing to the table wasn't enough.
Facts.
And I think a lot of girls as well, because he was kind of like my university boyfriend who I thought, oh, we'd go on to do life with.
Yeah.
But aside from basic, maybe like looks, and I don't know what he was bringing to the table.
Yeah, literally. Like,
he really wasn't bringing anything to the table.
Yeah, I get it. And I think, and do you know what, sometimes as well, because like, even when I think about exes as well, sometimes I'm like, it's not even that you treated me badly, you treated yourself badly. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't, because do you know what the thing is? And it does really matter why you broke up. Because when I think about like a particular situation where like me and my ex had broken up, it's not even because you was horrible to me. Yeah. Or it's because you cannot give me what I need in this relationship because you don't even respect yourself enough to look after yourself. Yeah. So it's like, again, apart from good looks and potentially you go to the gym and you have a nice body, what is it you're bringing to the table?
And that's why, like, you can't be so artificial when you approach a relationship.
Facts.
You can't just look at the exterior and think, oh, he looks good, so I want to get in a relationship with him. That makes, girls, please, let's just stop for a minute. That makes no logical sense.
And you know what? The reason, again, there is a reason why men were created as physical creatures and women were not.
Yeah. Because a man doesn't necessarily need your money or your income or
but we need theirs.
But we need theirs.
Yes.
So what is he doing? What is he bringing to the table? And
you're going on maternity leave. Yeah. Who's paying them bills?
Who is paying those bills? Let me tell you, because when your workplace decides not to pay you anything, you can be a high earner and be on 100k a year.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden you fall pregnant. You're not bringing in any money. No. Your man is on 30k and you're both looking at your 2,500 mortgage and you're just like, well, what are we going to do here?
God will provide.
If I hear that statement.
Do you know what's so funny? I hate that when African parents say that to me. I'm like, God provides when people do work.
Listen,
when people work, God provides.
You also have to use wisdom. Like, you always have to use wisdom. Like, nah, I can't. That is one of the worst African proverbs. Not the worst, because don't get me wrong, God does provide. But it's like,
it's definitely
you have to also do the work.
Facts.
Like, I'm sorry. You have to do the work.
I can't stand it when they say that. It drives me nuts.
Come on, use a bit of,
Mum, I love you, but I hate when you say that.
It's just like, we need a little bit of, energy and just something. But
it's such a common statement as well. It's so funny.
That statement. Every African household has heard that God will provide.
Should you spin the block though? I don't know, man. I feel like there's two parts because I feel like you can.
You can.
Yeah.
But I do feel like you need to really understand the reasons for the breakup. That is first and foremost.
Yeah. I mean, I'm being a hypocrite because I haven't spun the block with an ex and I won't spin the block with an ex more time. But
no, you're off the market now.
Yeah. I was in 100%. But I mean, like, just hypothetically speaking, I wouldn't spin the block with any ex anyway. Because realistically, in my head, I'm like I said, I always do things to my best potential. So I already know that if I've given you everything I've got and we couldn't make it work then, there's no way we're going to make it work because there's nothing else I can give you. So that's the reason why I'm saying I'm being a little bit of a hypocrite. But I feel like you said, depending on the reason and depending on the time, because sometimes right person, wrong time.
Well, this is it.
And you know what I mean? And I'm a big person who says, well, he will get ready. Sometimes it's just not that easy for some people. So I'm like, you can spin the block sometimes. I think if there's been some time, some distance, like you said, you've understood the reasons for a breakup. Age also plays a part as well, I think.
Yeah.
When that situation we spoke about, like you're 16, for example, if he wasn't an idiot and he potentially wanted to, because he sounds like you sound like you want to get back with this person, to be honest.
He sounds bitter.
Yeah, you sound bitter. So it's like, what is it really that's bugging you? Is it bugging you that you think she was abusive to you or she was I don't know. Or is it bugging that she's got a man?
It's definitely bugging him that she's got a man.
Yeah.
Because he's talking about, he's criticizing her more than anything. So it's just like, if you didn't care, you wouldn't even be talking about it, first and foremost.
Literally.
But then on top of that, you're trying to downplay her. And then you're shocked. And you said you're shocked that she's got a man.
Yeah.
Why are you shocked?
Yeah.
And then you felt the need to have to tell her about, tell him.
Than her about her physical appearance as well.
Exactly.
No need.
So what? Because she's fat, she can't have a man? I don't understand. Like, what are you saying?
Even what you say is like, it doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't even make sense. So, and then her man has chosen to be with her, and you still went to go and find him on your friend's Instagram. You're that determined. Like, it's bothering you that much.
It doesn't make sense.
You're hating. You're definitely jealous of her. And
yeah,
you can't believe that she's got someone.
And it's one of those ones where it was always his crush. So,
for sure.
Yeah.
But
time,
we should actually talk about...
Go on.
We'll have an episode on, like, is there such thing as high school crushes?
Yes. There is such thing as high school crushes, I think.
I think they're so cute.
They are. Do you know what? It is very cute.
It is.
It is very cute. I feel like my current partner is like my high school crush, though.
Oh.
I feel like he's like my high school crush.
Cute.
Even though we're not in high school,
Yeah.
but my life is always in high school because I want to be young forever.
Baby girl.
Don't mind me. But yeah, no. In terms of spinning the block, yes, but no. But again, what situations? Because I feel like in that situation, if you're going through an abusive relationship, emotionally or physically,
you don't need to spin that
you
block.
should not be spinning the block
Yeah.
on that relationship. Chapter closed, book closed, you read it, done.
Yeah.
You already know what that person is like. And this brings me to the point of, do people change or do people grow? Because me and my colleague and my manager were having this debate, and
People
it's
do
really
not
interesting.
change.
I also don't think people change.
People do not change.
But
They
what was-
grow.
I always say that as well,
Yeah.
right? But what my manager said to me was really interesting. She was like, why do I differentiate change and growth as two different things, and why they're not synonymous, like together? And it's a very interesting question, but flip that question on its head. Why do you incorporate them? If they weren't two different words, they wouldn't be two separate words in the dictionary.
Well, this is it.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
And the whole sayings of like, a leopard can never change his spots. When someone shows you who they are, believe them.
Yeah, but
Those
a leopard still
sayings
grows
come-
from being a child to a cub to a full-grown leopard.
But the
That's
spots
growth.
stay the same.
But the spots stay the same.
Yeah.
So,
So it's
that's the
interesting.
explanation.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, but at the time, and I was like, it's a very good question, and I was sitting there thinking, I was like, why do I actually differentiate like the two? And it's life experience.
Yeah,
me.
for sure. That's what it comes down to. Like for me, like it's such a like for me, I've been saying it for years, and people have always come for me on this. And one of my friends in particular, she knows who she is. She messaged me on this as well. And for me, the reason why I don't feel like people change is, but I believe that people can grow, is literally down to life experience.
Yep.
For example, I can be, if I'm an emotional person,
Yep.
I'm likely to have always been an emotional person.
And you continue. We will continue.
But the way I deal and handle things will be different.
Yes.
The way I would have handled things maybe at the age of 10 is going to be different to the way I handle things at the age of 20.
Yep.
And that's where the differentiation comes from, in my opinion, is the growth is learning how to handle things or using certain tools to be able to navigate certain situations.
Yeah. The example of change that she gave me was she used to be a meat eater, carnivore, and now she's a vegetarian. And I was like, that's a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
Anybody can change their lifestyle.
Yeah.
But growth, as a person, growth, your DNA is your DNA. It's not changing. Our fingerprints are fingerprint. It's not changing.
Yeah.
Even though we grow and we're growing, it's still the same. So I was like, innately, we are who we are. I say, people can say different. My own personal life experiences. The only time I think people can change.
The only time.
I swear. It's African, isn't it? I should have just bought my buba.
I'm telling you, the only time.
The only time I think people can change is when they have a life-changing experience. That's the only time. And when I say a life-changing experience is, you lost a limb. You went through chemotherapy or radio, like, do you know what I mean? You had cancer. Those are like genuinely, you had a motorbike accident. You was driving a car when you was, young, and then you killed the rest of the other students in the car. Those are the only times I think people can change. But in general, I'm like, people are the same.
Yeah.
The reason why people say a leopard can never change its spots is because why? The saying comes from somewhere.
Yeah.
Would you go and play in a leopard party? Would you go and play in a leopard
But that's
field?
the thing. It doesn't change the fact that just because a leopard can't change its spots, it doesn't mean that it doesn't grow from a cub to a leopard.
Yeah.
And that's the point that a lot of people miss and don't highlight. So it's like, and that's the thing. We went from a baby to adults. That is growth.
Yeah, not
but
change.
We didn't change who we were. We were still probably, the same similar characteristics and personalities when we were a lot younger, but we're just older. So we've grown. So I think that's, for me, that's the clearest way to distinguish it.
I mean, like I said, I agree, because if there wasn't two words in a dictionary, they were, if they were the same, there wouldn't be different words in a dictionary. So but again, going back to if I was an ex, I don't know how much that person's gonna have changed.
Yeah, in a few years. Yeah,
changed, and I put that in speech marks. So I'm like, okay, you may have grown, but innately I still think you're the same person. So on that aspect, I'm like, should you spin the block with an ex? Not really, because are you going to get the same thing? Probably.
Absolutely. And the thing is, I hear that. I definitely do hear that, but it's like, again, just going back to the reason for the breakup, because I know a lot of you are going to side with me on this, but Nelly and Kelly. Nelly and Kelly? No,
Ashanti and Nelly.
Nelly and Ashanti.
Yeah.
I always say Nelly and Kelly. But yeah, Nelly and Ashanti.
Need you, Nelly. Anyway, sorry.
The singing.
Don't mind me, you know. I don't know.
Not the clearing of the throat. But them two are a prime example of, or I guess a lot of people have been speaking about their situation and them spinning the block, because they've come back together after, is it 10 or 20 years?
Listen, Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez. So sometimes you can spin the block.
Sometimes.
But you know what the thing is? And this is the problem with the Nelly and Ashanti situation that I have an issue with.
Why do you have an issue with
it? Because she always loved him.
She did.
She always loved him. And I just think that is, and I don't know what it would feel like to be in that position, to know that, because you knew that I feel like he loved her. He did. But you didn't love her enough. You loved her enough, or you loved her a little less to go and marry somebody else.
He didn't marry.
Did he not marry her?
He just lived married.
Okay. You lived your full life with another woman though.
Yeah, 10 years.
To come back. I would have an issue with that,
But do you know what it is? Maybe at the time.
I love how you picked up your wine and you said, okay, maybe.
Let me defend my Nelly and Ashanti.
Yeah, no, I'm here for them.
No. Yeah. But like, I think from what it seems like, and this is me maybe taking it totally out of context, but when he was with Chantel.
Is that her name?
Yeah.
The shoe gummy lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I know the business. I don't even know her name, but yeah.
But when he was with Chantel, I don't think like Nelly and Ashanti, their schedules were very misaligned. They both met each other when they were young, in their prime, fairly new onto the scene, and they were blowing. Like they were doing their own thing and they were focusing on their careers. And I think their careers is what drove them apart.
Yeah.
So they weren't able to spend as much time with each other like how maybe he would have if he had a woman who was able, exactly,
wasn't an artist.
And Chantel was able to, from what I saw, because she was on his he had like a show on TV.
I think I watched it.
Yeah. And she was able to kind of follow him around, be there, be almost like a stepmom to his kids. She was a bit more of a homekeeper.
Yes.
So that might have worked for him. And so at the time, she was maybe the right woman at the right time.
Yep.
But then
she wasn't the right woman. Because she was
at the right time.
Yeah.
At the right time. But when he looks at maybe his heart and who he's always loved and all that, I want to believe it was Ashanti.
I actually agree that I feel like he did love her.
Yeah, so it's come back full circle where, because he's the one that approached her.
Yeah.
My fine girl Ashanti did not go up to him.
Yes,
he walked across the stage and said, I'm sorry, or whatever he said.
But he needed to be sorry.
Yeah, no, for real. But still, but the fact that he approached her, even though he was in a relationship for 10 years or whatever, his heart must have always been, to some degree, maybe with Ashanti.
But could you imagine being that woman that's the placeholder then?
Hi!
That means that Chantel or Chanel, whatever you said, her name, whatever, she was a placeholder. Because
she
essentially,
because his heart was never fully, or maybe it was at the time, but he still must have always had something.
Because why would you be with a man for 10 years and he didn't marry you?
But he said, well, I mean, that is another question for another day.
Yeah,
but he's always,
a long time.
But then he was also with Ashanti for many, many years before he got with Chantel. And even till now, a lot of people are screaming, so when are you going to marry her? So Nelly, I remember watching an interview that Nelly was doing, and he was saying that one of his best examples of a relationship was his grandma and his granddad.
Yeah.
And I believe they died, but they've been together for years and years and years, and they died. No, they did.
Oh, okay.
They got married and they were married forever.
Yeah.
They spent the rest of their life together, and that was his best example. And he said that he doesn't want to marry someone unless he knows that he will die marrying them.
And I love that.
So he never wants to get divorced. He never ever wants to. So I think he puts that pressure on himself when it comes to choosing a woman and making sure, because he knows once he gets married, he never wants to get divorced.
Okay.
So
Sounds like a lot of excuses to me.
It does sound like a lot of excuses because then it just means that in your mind that will always be your excuse for why you would never put a ring on it. Because supposedly,
it sounds like a lot of excuses for me.
Supposedly, our sister Shanti is pregnant. Can you please marry the girl? I do love that for her, but at the same time, it's like he also has 2 kids from a previous relationship.
Okay. It's not with Chanel.
No,
is it Chanel?
Chantel.
Oh, Chantel.
He's got 2 kids from a previous relationship. Same woman. The thing is, but again, he never married her.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So for me, it sounds like a whole lot of excuses. I do always, and the thing is, I think it's sad because when you love somebody so much, it's very difficult. Because I'm pretty sure in those 10 years, I don't remember seeing Ashanti dating that much.
No.
Yeah, but you was living your best life. You had a woman following you around. And the thing is,
I don't know if I'd say he was living his best life because he wasn't. I never recall him being out and around with but I mean when I say best life I mean like out and about with different women. He was just committed to one. Yeah.
I feel like we're gonna live our best life with our partner.
No, I know, but I mean it's just like the connotations around a man living his best life sounds like a man that's like out here just that's what I'm saying. Like
that is the opposite for me.
He seems like to me he seems like a man who is a man of commitment and likes to like be with one woman, but then he doesn't know how to take that next step.
Surface and excuses. That whole Nelly and Ashanti situation, I was really when I saw about it, I was like,
I was so happy. Cute. But do you know who we haven't really spoken about? I mean, I know we briefly spoke about her here now, just now.
Who?
But a lot of people haven't actually considered how Chantel feels.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean...
Sorry. Sorry. Do you know what? Yeah. You know what it is? I feel bad for her because, again, like...
Imagine 10 years. That's not a joke, you know.
It's not. That's what I'm saying.
That is not a joke.
But again, this is the thing. We have to understand why is it that she also felt that it was okay not to be married. That's one thing. That's question number 1 I have for her. Then number 2, I feel like you got to be, sometimes you can see when people are in love, really. And as a woman, we see other women. We're not blind. It's only men that pretend they can't see what they're doing. Other women are doing.
Exactly.
The same way, like, guys will be like to us, your male friend, he ain't even your friend. He's just waiting. He's just waiting around to see. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. We see what other women are doing. So you probably knew. Deep down, you knew where he was going back to.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's another thing. When you're trying to insert yourself into a man's life, you need to be very careful because that can really backfire.
Yeah, no, for sure. You need to make sure that, okay, like, he wants this. Like, I'm the woman for him.
100%. But then...
Because she knew. She knew. She always knew that it was always Ashanti.
That's what I'm saying. Even I knew. And I don't even know that.
Yeah. Like, talking about them, like, we're their besties.
Like, we're their friends. You know what I mean? But that's another point. Like, in terms of, like, spinning the block on an ex, I feel like you can if you feel like you're not just making an emotional decision. If that decision is a logical decision as well and it works for you in your favor. Because, for example, in regards to the time difference and, you know, the career differences and always being away from each other, is that now because they're now like settled down, they don't perform as much, they can actually do all these things together? Because at the end of the day, if not, you're going to only have them same problems. Yeah. What's different now that was then 10 years ago?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not against spinning the block with an ex. I personally haven't. Yeah. I don't think, I wouldn't even know anyway because I've, got a partner. But, is a decision logical? Or are you just making he's fine still? Or are you basing it off the emotions you had 10 years ago?
Well, yeah.
Because I feel like if you're basing it on the emotions you had 10 years ago, you might be in for real disappointment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Real
maybe now he doesn't have a job. And
but he does. He was they're still performing.
No, I'm saying like randomly. Like, if a girl was considering spinning the block, like if she's basing it on her emotions back then, maybe he was in a different place then than he is now. Yeah. So maybe he had a job then and now he doesn't have a job and he's a bit of a bum and he's.
But if you, could you? Do you know the level of insult the level of insult that is? Yeah, that when you was up, you didn't want me. Now when you're down you want to come talk to me. First of all, sir. Let's get this straight. Right,
exactly.
Because we're not even you can't sit at my table, honey. What do you mean? What other things that make you like other reasons why you should or you shouldn't spin the block with an ex? Is there any other particular things? Because we talked about timing, we've talked about the reason why you've broken up, we talked about not making like emotional decisions. And again, like what you said is important in terms of like where the man is in his life. Is he coming back to you because he's down in the dumps? Yeah. If he's coming back to you because he's down in the dumps, the example of like Steve Harvey, Kevin Hart, when they go back up, they're going to only dump you back down.
Oh,
That's
dump you, throw you, even.
The last thing from me is like, was the relationship toxic? Because if the relationship was toxic, then you really need to be like, how much is it going to change? Is it going to bring the worst out of me again? Because if it's going to bring the worst out in you, there's no point.
No.
Because you'll be able to find somebody else that you're more compatible with, more suitable, you match.
Yeah.
And I think for me, peace comes before other aspects of a relationship. So if the relationship was toxic, there's absolutely no point because you bring out the worst in me.
Well, this is
so
it.
I'm not trying to spin the block with you.
No, exactly.
I'm trying to spin away from you.
No, that's a good one. I think as well, a couple ones here, but like readiness. How ready are you to get back in a situation? Depending on obviously why you've broken up, but are you ready for that recommitment? Because are you just jumping back into it because, like you say, are you leading with emotional?
Rebound.
Emotional?
Yeah.
But yeah, emotions.
Yeah.
So is it just like okay, I'm leading with emotions, I just want him back? Or have you actually taken the time to communicate, sit down, talk about it, and then say, okay, we're ready to try this again? Yeah. And then it's got to be a mutual agreement on both parts. So it can't just be, I want you back. It's got to be, you also feel the same urge to want to make this work.
Yeah. You know, do you know what? It's an interesting, like, I've got a question in terms of like readiness, right? I think that's more readiness on a man's part than a woman's part.
Oh, no, yeah, for sure.
Do you know
but like,
yes and no.
Yes and no.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about, I'm like, readiness is a very good point. But I feel like readiness normally comes from the man because the woman will easily get ready for the man.
Yeah.
It's whether the man is ready for the woman.
Well, this is it.
And they'll be like, oh, I'm not ready. What are you not ready for?
Exactly. Because it's never, like, very rarely, I'm not saying it never happens, but very rarely have I ever heard a woman turn around and say,
I'm ready.
I'm not ready. When a guy has said, I want to be with you.
Yeah.
I've never really heard that.
If she does, she doesn't like you.
Yeah, she doesn't like you. Just
at all.
Cut it out.
Run, babe.
But but usually it's the woman that's always like, so what is this? What are we? Yes. And then it's the man that's, oh, I'm not quite ready.
What are you not ready for?
Story.
Yeah, this is a good one. It's a very interesting one as well. Yeah. I can see it from like two different perspectives of like the woman and the man.
Yeah. But also, I think trust. Can you trust yourself to get back into that relationship with that guy?
The real question is, can trust be rebuilt?
Ooh,
that's the real question.
Well, this is the thing.
And, like you said, why did you break up in the first place? Because cheating. Can you trust them again? I had this debate yesterday with the boys, and they were like, they think.
What do they think?
They think. She said, what do they think? They think that trust can be rebuilt after cheating.
Yeah, that's
it. Honestly,
I think like it's a hard one because I do think with cheating, sometimes you're almost just like, ignorance is bliss. It's better if I just don't know.
Okay,
because if I do know,
yeah,
I don't know how I'm going to react, how I'm going to handle it.
The question is, would you want them to come and tell you? So if your man's cheated, God forbid. Because I know you watch sometimes. So, but yeah, if your man's cheating, would you want somebody to tell you? Like, would you want another woman, that woman particularly, to come and tell you, or would you rather be like, ignorance is bliss? Let's say it wasn't an affair. It was a one night stand.
I think for me, ignorance is bliss.
Yeah. Do you know what's so funny? All of my friends say ignorance is bliss. And when I say ignorance is bliss, people are like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Ignorance is bliss. Because sometimes you want to tell me so that you unburden yourself, but you've now burdened me. And the thing when you burden me is that I can be real petty. They call me Petty Paulina.
Not Paulina.
Do you know what I mean? They call me Petty Paulina, Bitchy Becky. And I don't know, like you said, I don't know how I'm going to react.
Yeah. I don't know how I'm going to react, how I'm going to behave. So I just...
And I think it's different depending on the man as well, because it's like, do you know when you date somebody and you're just like, maybe he's not your best friend or like whatever it is, you're just kind of dating, you kind of figure that you're like, yeah, he's all right. You might not be as hurt, but when that person is like your best friend and it's like, wow,
I don't even know you anymore.
I don't know who you are.
I don't know who you are because I never would have thought this.
I don't know who you are. How do you... I
could strangle you in your sleep.
Like,
I will strangle you in your sleep.
If the pillow just happens to be over your face and I don't know. You know what I mean?
I remember when one of my friends, he was messaging a girl and his girl found out.
Oh God.
He came back from a drunken night. This girl sat on top of him with the iron plugged in and was pressing the steamer on his...
She's crazy.
I was like...
She's crazy. I thought I was Petty Paulina. She's crazy.
She's like, you want to be cheating on me?
Did he scream?
He was vomiting as he was screaming. I said, your life is a mess. Just a complete mess.
That is actually banter. But yeah, I don't know, because like trust is a real big one.
It's really hard to rebuild trust once it's broken. And so I think...
Does that mean we're not forgiving? Because again, from that conversation I had at work, when I was saying that people don't change and with the growth, there was like, that would mean that you're not a forgiving person. And I was like, no, I'm very forgiving. I just don't forget.
Yeah. Well, that part. But it's just knowing that, like, if you can cheat once, what's stopping you from thinking that you can do it again?
Well,
and that's what it comes down to. So, okay, cool, I can forgive you.
Yeah.
But the reality is, I know that you'll probably do it again because you've shown signs of a cheater, and you'll regret what you allow.
Yeah.
So, like, you don't want to allow them to come back into your life for them to only do it again. I may not hate you because I ain't got time for hate.
Yeah, no.
So, but I just know that it's probably your personality, maybe. And then also, it's what work have you done on yourself? Because maybe you've got traits of always needing or feeling wanted.
I've got a question.
Which is why you go out and look for...
I feel like I have too many questions all the time. Do you feel like cheating can ever be blamed on the other person?
No. That is a you problem.
Yeah. Let me elaborate a little bit more on that one.
Wait.
Oh. Okay.
Let me take it a little bit back. Because I feel like, say for example, your partner is withholding sex from you.
Okay.
And you're sexually active, and you've always known, like, both of you in your relationship have always been sexually active, and then all of a sudden she's like, I don't want to have sex anymore.
Yes.
I think it can be quite hard to have to adjust to that.
Yes.
And that adjustment could lead to wandering eye and stuff like that. But that's why I feel like communication is very important in a relationship, because if you are feeling a certain type of way, then that communication needs to be had, because maybe she's going through something that doesn't make her as sexually active. And if she maybe in your own relationship, maybe she'll turn around and say, it's fine for you to go and have a pass. I'm just saying.
No, it's true.
You know what I mean?
No,
because maybe she's going through a situation where she knows that she can't sexually fulfill you. And so rather than you cheating behind her back, she might actually give you the pass to do it because she at least knows what's happening.
Yeah, I feel like that'd be very painful anyway in that situation. And I think, do you remember the situation I talked about on the pod, the HRT, and then the man ended up cheating.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's a difficult one because it's like, it's part and parcel. It's like, she could have done more and he could have done better.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, both of you are to kind of blame in that situation. But what I was actually really thinking is that a lot of the time, and again, I don't want to speak for all women as well, because obviously I'm not going to not condone, but I'm not going to be like an advocate for cheating, right? But I'm like, sometimes when women cheat, a lot of the time actually when women cheat, it's an emotional thing in terms of there's something that she's not getting from you as a partner that she felt the need to seek outside.
Yeah.
Is that that's a relationship problem? Don't get me wrong, it's a character flaw that she's going to go and cheat, but there's a problem with your relationship as to why she's probably gone and done that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, sometimes I'm not blind cheating, but sometimes it can be the relationship's fault.
Yeah. Let's say that it's the relationship's fault.
Because like you said, if the woman is withholding sex from a man, so even in the conversation yesterday, the fact that there was a few things that men need in relationships, sex was a very big part of that. So if you're withholding that, he's going to want to get it from somewhere.
Yeah.
So the relationship's fault.
Yeah. And then he could end up with one of his colleagues in
work
Hawaii
down, work wife.
for 5 weeks. 5 or 8 weeks.
Rubbish.
But yeah, guys, that's all we've got time for.
Yes. Okay.
We've run over, but hope you guys enjoyed it. Comment in the below section to let us know your thoughts.
Should you spin the block with an X?
Should you spin the block?
I'd love to hear some stories, guys. Please send us some stories.
Definitely.
And more dilemmas.
Definitely more dilemmas. We are loving them. But yeah. And
au revoir for now.
See you later. Ciao, ciao.